Dora rushed up to her husband and Leopold. "I couldn't find the map anywhere. The Hitler special's missing too." Edward and Leopold exchanged stunned looks. "I remember hearing a noise in the tent last night. Did Helga's vandals steal them? Does Rommel have the map?" Dora wondered. Edward sighed.
"If he does, it's too late to worry about it now. The battle's begun."
He turned toward his troops and shouted,
"Fire! Give them everything you've got!"
The commander of each artillery piece gave an order. He had an assistant to sight the gun. The ammunition handler brought the ammo up from the rear. The layer put the shell into the breech. The loader pushed it into the gun. The breech operator made sure that the shell was rammed home, and the breech was put back in place. He fired. The 25-pounders all along the ridge opened up on the German troops, creating a thunderous, deafening roar. Dora clapped her hands over her ears. She could see beyond the shields erected over each gun far out into the desert. Shells were landing barely within range of her vision. She trained her binoculars over there. The shells blew up the ground, landing around what she supposed must be the German 90th Light Motorized Division. She zoomed in on the insignia on a half-track. It showed a palm tree with a swastika and flag. The fire increased. Sand and dust exploded up into the air in great columns, 50 feet high, forming clouds that covered the ground, decreasing visibility. The dry earth became more pitted and scarred. Large black trenches opened up like a trap for the unwary. German soldiers from the 90th Light tripped and plummeted into them. They were swallowed alive. The German trucks and Zugmaschinen didn't fare any better. They were going nowhere. Their tires were stuck in the soft sand. It had suddenly appeared where the expertly forged Lawrence map had assured Rommel it didn't exist. Tires spun and spun. Crews got out to try to push them free. It did no good as their own feet sank deeper into the treacherous ground. Dora trained her binoculars on the far distance. 2 German officers were stopped in their vehicle. Their tires were spinning and sinking down into the soft sand. They couldn't advance on foot. Shells were raining down upon them. There was too much swirling dust. Sand hung over the desert in big black clouds combined with bursts of fire. When the smoke cleared, Dora caught sight of 2 figures hugging the ground. To judge by their uniforms and insignia, by what she'd glimpsed of their statures, ages, hair color, and more, they looked like the same 2 German generals she'd met 2 nights ago near Mersa Matruh, Bayerlein and Rommel. She tapped her husband on the shoulder. He turned and she whispered in his ear, "Where?" She pointed him in the right direction. He used his field glasses to focus in on the sight. Edward was impressed.
"It looks a lot like them, doesn't it?"
Dora observed. "They obviously don't have your missing map. They can't tell where the soft sand is and where it isn't." Edward smiled with satisfaction.
"Perhaps ordinary Bedouin thieves took the map and the Hitler gun without knowing anything about them."
"Maybe so, but you look as if you don't really need the map," Dora stated flatly.
"I had plenty of time to study it last night before it disappeared."
Edward admitted. Dora crossed her fingers as the battle unfolded in front of them. "You're really carrying the day."
"With a little help from my friends. You, Churchill, and Lawrence, of course. Only this time it's soft sand, not a narrow passageway like the Sikh at the Battle of Petra."
Edward explained.
"We've deceived Rommel with Lawrence's forged map. That's no easy thing to do. The only question is whether the Desert Fox will push on."
"Under this kind of fire?" Dora exclaimed. "Through all that soft sand?" He looked at her meaningfully.
"He's a marvel of a general. He's taken everything that Lawrence thought about mobile units in the desert, surprise and offense as the best defense, and put it into his own brand of blitzkrieg warfare. He doesn't believe in giving up. That's why giving him the real Lawrence map of the Western Desert, letting him know where the firm sand is and isn't, would be like pouring gasoline on a wildfire. There would be no stopping him then."
"Yes, I guess that's the problem," Dora agreed. "We still have to keep the real map from Rommel. That's an impossible task. We don't have it anymore."
We've got to find it,
Edward warned.
or Rommel will discover how to skirt around the soft sand and push us right off the Wysett Ridge.
Major General Lord Edward Ware holds the key to World War II in his hands this day at Wysett Ridge during the First Battle of El Alamein in North Africa in June of 1942. He's been playing hide-and-seek with Hitler for many years now to see who will possess the Lawrence map of the Western Desert. Whoever possesses it will win the battle. North Africa, the Middle East, all that oil, and thus the entire war. His enemy knows it too, and will play as dirty can get to gain the key to world domination. For Hitler, this is a fight to the death in the blowing sands of the Sahara Desert with Rommel as his henchman. Read Captive at the Berghof, Part 2.